Good morning. I hope everybody that listens is keeping well. Wanted to read some of my notes, share some of my thoughts. There's a fallacy out there that common sense, morality can only be attained through someone else's writings, someone else's beliefs, or someone else's theories. Almost like you are born into this world and you don't know right from wrong. You don't know what's beautiful and what's ugly. No, we know what's right and what's wrong. We know what's beautiful and what's not. That is universal, you know. Beauty is universal. What's good is universal. It is objective, you know. It's not subjective at all. But some people would like you to believe so. People of the book, for instance, kind of reminds me of those because the people of the book, the three Abrahamic dogmas, they follow that book to the letter, at least most of them, and it gives them guidelines how to behave in the natural world, in the you know existing world, and in the world beyond. They don't need policemen. They don't need courts or lawyers because the book tells them everything: how to act, how to live in your home, and to live and act outside your home, etc. So to me, that's a fallacy. To me, that's a prison for the mind and a prison for the body. You know, recently, this belief, this fallacy, got an update. And this update was mainly because of the Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution kind of create a new branch of dogma in which people are obsessed with materialistic things. Um, so a new branch had to be created. The leading theologians of this new branch, you know, um, are writers, so-called philosophers, and they are also into economics. I'm not going to say names or places. I think it's best. But these people, they decided, okay, we have to infiltrate culture to change it from within. Why? Why would you want to infiltrate culture and take it over? Culture institutions, for instance. Well, because culture is a trial and error process, and eventually there's a repository of wisdom. You know, you don't do this, you don't do that, because we already tried it. And they want to dismantle that repository of wisdom, so that a year zero may arise, a new start, a fresh new game. That's their dream, you know. They want to do that. Why would you want to do such a thing? Because they are out of their minds. They want to bring about an utopia, and wisdom is in the way. So they want to eradicate the repository of wisdom of humanity and start fresh. So the main strategy to achieve this, reaching equality, they say. We have to reach equality. But that's an impossibility. Yeah. So I just want to remember, I don't know if you ever thought about this, but in my opinion, all right, the concept of far right, yes, a lot of people talk about far right, is, in my opinion, organized religion in which a book tells you everything and it controls every aspect of your life. A book, an ideology, yeah. You have to follow it to the letter. That's far right. Far left is not so different. They also are organized around books. We called it bureaucracy. They are organized around taking notes and keeping records. They are also under an ideology. For instance, at the moment, they are under the ideology of the climate. It's their eschatology that the climate is going to kill them. So both of these are based on fear, of course, and they go back and forward, checking their notes, checking their records, reading the book back and forward whenever they need clarification, whenever they need to sentence someone. They call this the retroactive, you know. But this is not a natural or symbiotic relationship between people at all. It's actually something very alien, something that doesn't adapt to the ages and doesn't adapt to the needs of people. It's rigid, it's outdated, old fashioned, it's comatose. It's just a set of rules that don't reflect the present times or the human condition at all. So people are inside a psychosis. And this psychosis is traditional of death cults, and they usually aim for impossible goals, things that will never be achieved. It's like the carrot on a stick type of thing. And that puts the victims in prison for the mind and a prison for the body. That's what they love the most, is to control, microcontrol, micromanage every aspect of your life, spiritual and physical. So they take you away from your natural environment and they put you in an artificial environment created by them. It's total tyranny, you know. So this imaginable eschatology, you know, sometimes is fear of non-existing things, fear of non-existing foes, um, uh, objectives that are impossible to realize, like cure death. Kind of reminds me of the other branch. They want to cure death. The what's their name? The transhumanists, to defeat non-existing enemies. And equality is one of them because we are not equal. So there was another thing I wanted to say about this. Mm, what was it? Come on. Yes, lately I noticed there's lots of hypochondriacs online talking about annihilation through nuclear Armageddon. Um, Not so long ago, the same types were talking about annihilation through contagion, you know. So we all remember, at least in my science book, there were 3 pages, one with Louis Pasteur and his germ thing. The other page, it was the mushroom cloud, and the other page was NASA. They were all together. And I think these are psyops for the purpose of mind control, you know. Anyway, why are we not equal? I mean, all of us got that image burned, chiseled, or carved in our mind of the mushroom. Everybody has it. It's mind control. Why would they want to put that in there so they could use it to spread fear in the future? It's, you know, it's manipulation. So the thing I've heard at a distance, if you have the right equipment or the right conditions are present, any type of explosion, any type, creates a mushroom cloud. Any type. So keep that in perspective. Let's go back to the equality thing. So we are not equal. And that's how it's supposed to be. Damn, if we were all equal, I mean, it would be boring. Equality is sameness. Sameness. And it's what tyranny always thrives for. Sameness. I was listening to this like 100-year-old video. They were asking teenagers because machines was becoming part of society, and they asked them about what do they think about the future with all of these machines, and they all answered something like it's going to be a boring world. Everything will be the same, and people will be bored because machines will do all the work. People will also be out of a job, and they were pretty much predicting using common sense again, just common sense, that the future is going to be quite boring. It's going to be a very stagnant sameness. That's what tyranny produces, sameness. And that's what they want, sameness, mediocrity. Look at art, look at architecture, everything is mediocre. Everything is ugly. Everything is lacking a soul, you know. So, equality. For instance, institutions, businesses, any types of transactions, any types of deals that are made between people is because we are not equal. I am seeking something that I don't have, and vice versa. I am seeking skills I don't have, so I talk to someone who has those skills. All right. So, for instance, I have skills of growing potatoes, but I know nothing of knitting. I know nothing of fashion. I know nothing of creating clothes. So I will look for someone who can, give me some pants and a jacket, and I will exchange it for potatoes. Maybe they are hungry. And this is what we call economy, right? There's a balance. You give me something, I give you something else in return. It's trade, basic trade economy, because each one of us has different skills. But skills is something tyranny doesn't enjoy at all, right? No, or merit. Oof, merit. Oh no. It has to be based on what's their. It has to be based on physical aspects. That's how they flushed it. That's how they reduce it to tyranny. They say, oh no, it has to be based on physical aspects, not on skills. So another one, for instance, I'm a writer, very artistic person. I have a message I want to speak to the world, but I don't know how to do it. So you go and you find some guy, some company, some uh, uh, someone who has organization skills, right? Hey man, can you help me out? So this organization, this company is going to put out, find a way to make publicity, to find people who can transport the merchandise, all of that organization stuff. And if it sells, then you guys split the profits and everybody wins. That's inequality. We are not equals. We seek help from each other. To if you everybody was equal, then this this symbiosis wouldn't happen. This interactions wouldn't happen if everybody was equal. So, where does common sense, where does morality come from? It's not from a book or a theory. Morality comes from our experiences, the experiences of many, many generations. We call this common sense. It's a repository of wisdom. During so many of these trial and errors experiences surfaces, and we stick with what actually works, right? Tyranny doesn't want that. Tyranny wants to rewrite reality. They want to rewrite humans. Um, there's lots of parallels between tyranny and, a malignant narcissist. Lots of parallels. If you want to understand tyranny, go into psychoanalysis, psychology, and there's plenty of books out there. It's inevitable. Yeah, it's inevitable nowadays. Everybody has access to the internet, and little by little, people are realizing and starting to see the patterns between human behavior and malignant narcissists. You know, this will go back to normal eventually. It will go back to normal. So ideology is not common sense, and these people will never stop. People who are possessed by an ideology or want to push an ideology, they will never stop. It's not a question of money or power. No, it's um, wanting this mandate, this messianic mandate, to change other people's mind. You see, they want to hack other people's mind. It's like the spreading of a disease. And sometimes they use coercion, they use violence, they use, you know, all sorts of ways to spread this disease. And they think they are on the right side of things. They think they are the good guys. Never, when someone is possessed by an ideology and completely missed, the common sense, completely missed critical thinking, they think they are on the right side of things. They couldn't possibly be the bad guys. They couldn't. They have a mandate. It's their consciousness that mandates. It gives them free, what's the expression? Free card? I don't know what the expression is. It gives them a mandate, and they are perfectly okay about it. They sleep perfectly. They sleep perfectly because until they change others, they are condemned. They are condemned to, so they are like on a missionary, like in a missionary thing, to convert everybody to the ideology. And until it's done, they are all the others. The others aren't really people. This is the process of dehumanization, the us versus them. Again, this is very common for people who think the world in binary. And until they save them, quote unquote, they are damned. So they have a clear consciousness that they couldn't possibly be the bad guys. These people will never be satiated, until they have the whole world converted to their madness. So, anyway, I think I'm going to shut up. I've been talking for 20 minutes. Have a nice day.